Predicting customer sentiment is how you'll generate more traffic, leads, and revenue from AI search. So if you want to build inbound leads from your content, you need to know how to predict search intent when your users look for something in AI search engines. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to predict search intent in Gen AI. Hi there, I'm Jason Patel, the co-founder and CEO of OpenForge AI. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It goes a long way in helping me make more videos. Let's get started. So, why does predicting customer sentiment matter for AI search? Understanding customer sentiment isn't just a nice to have, it's essential for visibility in AI-powered search. Gen AI and search engines are getting smarter at gauging user intent and emotional resonance, making sentiment a key ranking factor. When you can predict and respond to customer sentiment effectively, you're essentially speaking the language that customers use to search for you. So let's define customer sentiment analysis fundamentals. Sentiment analysis is like being a digital emotion detective. It's a process of determining whether text expresses positive, negative, or neutral feelings. Think of it as teaching computers to understand the emotional tone behind words, just like how you can tell when your friend is excited, even in a text message. The foundation rests on natural language processing, NLP, and machine learning algorithms that scan text for emotional indicators. These systems look at the following: word choice and context, sentence structure, emotional intensity, and linguistic patterns. So here's a pro tip. When choosing a sentiment analysis tool, look for one that can handle industry-exhaustive jargon and contextual nuances, because it'll give you a much more accurate set of results. So how do you use AI for accurate sentiment forecasting? Machine learning algorithms have revolutionized how we predict and understand brand sentiment. These sophisticated systems can process vast amounts of unstructured data to identify patterns that human analysts might miss. The key lies in training these algorithms with high-quality, relevant data that reflects your specific market context. Successful implementation requires a deep understanding of both the technical capabilities and practical limitations of current ML models. So when I created this video versus when you're watching it right now, there'll probably be a new ML model out there, but the principles of what I'm talking about will remain the same. Some algorithms excel at processing text-based feedback, while others are better suited for analyzing visual content or social media interactions. It's all going to change very quickly. So here's a pro tip. Focus on training your ML models with industry-specific data to improve accuracy and relevance of sentiment predictions. This targeted approach yields more actionable insights than generic sentiment analysis. So train your data. Marketers can identify seasonal fluctuations, recurring themes, and long-term shifts in brand perception. This historical context is crucial for building predictive models that can anticipate future sentiment shifts. The key to effective historical analysis lies in proper data segmentation and contextualization. So consider factors like the following: market conditions during different time periods, competitive landscape changes, external events that might have influenced sentiment, and campaign performance and its impact on overall sentiment. Now let's go into natural language processing. NLP technology has become increasingly sophisticated in understanding the nuances of human communication, and it's going to get even more complex and powerful as time goes on. AI is changing like crazy. Modern NLP systems can detect subtle variations in tone, context, and intent that might be missed by traditional sentiment analysis tools, which is why using AI in your workflow for marketing is so important. This capability is particularly valuable when analyzing performance metrics across different platforms. So again, don't use a one-size-fits-all solution. Effective NLP implementation requires careful consideration of language variations, cultural context, and industry-specific terminology. The technology that you use has to be calibrated to understand not just the words being used, but also the broader industry and customer context in which they appear. So how do you master real-time sentiment tracking techniques? The key is establishing comprehensive coverage across all relevant platforms while maintaining the ability to filter and prioritize meaningful mentions. This involves setting up robust tracking systems that can capture mentions across social media, news sites, forums, and location-specific contexts. Now, effective monitoring goes beyond simple keyword tracking. The new way requires understanding the context of each mention, the influence of the source, and the potential impact on overall brand sentiment. This comprehensive approach helps identify emerging trends and potential issues before they escalate. You want to know these things before they become big problems. So as a pro tip, create custom alert thresholds for different types of mentions based on source authority and potential impact. This will help you prioritize your response efforts effectively. Next up, you need to optimize content for positive sentiment. Creating content that resonates emotionally with your audience requires a deep understanding of psychological triggers and emotional marketing principles. So although AI is taking over, the human triggers that make marketing so great will remain the same. The most effective brand messages combine authentic storytelling, obviously, with strategic emotional appeals that align with your brand values and your customer expectations. Successful emotional content follows this clear framework. Identify core emotional triggers for your target audience. Develop authentic narratives that connect with these emotions. Testing and refining your messaging based on sentiment and feedback. And then, of course, scaling your successful emotional approaches across your different marketing channels. So as a pro tip, build a sentiment map for your most successful content pieces to identify emotional patterns that drive positive engagement. Again, you need to know your customers inside and out. And then use those insights to guide future content creation. So if you're selling to businesses, selling to a founder-led team will be much different than selling to a chief marketing officer or someone who heads a department. So this will include considering factors like preferred content formats, tone of voice, and topic preferences. This goes without saying, but optimizing for AI answer engines, or GEO or AEO, whatever you want to call it, will require a new approach to your content creation and optimization. So you'll have to understand how AI systems evaluate and present content, and adapting your strategy to ensure positive sentiment and AI-generated responses will become crucial. You need to know how to master not just SEO, but AEO or GEO or whatever you want to call it. AI search engines will become the future, trust me. In that thread, how do you predict sentiment in zero-click searches? AI-powered search behavior represents a fundamental, major, tectonic shift in how users discover and interact with brand content. Understanding these patterns requires a deep dive into how AI systems interpret and present information in zero-click environments. And this knowledge is crucial for maintaining positive brand sentiment in an increasingly AI-driven search landscape. In other words, how do you scale your brand when no one is clicking through your website? More people might know about you, but fewer people might click through. And that could lead to more customers and higher fidelity customer conversion. The whole point is that you need to know how to scale your content in AI search. And so this includes analyzing query patterns, context interpretation, and the way AI systems evaluate content, authority, and relevance. So as a pro tip, create content that directly addresses common AI-generated answers to improve your chances of being cited as a primary source in zero-click environments. Sure, people might not click through, but this builds authority in that zero-click environment, and more people will know about you as time goes on. Overall, generative search optimization or generative engine optimization requires a somewhat different approach than traditional SEO. Much of the approaches are the same, but again, there's some variation. Success in the generative engine environment depends on creating content that AI systems can easily understand, verify, and then confidently present to users. Because Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever search engine it is, they want their users coming back to them and not a competitor. So this involves structuring information in ways that facilitates accurate sentiment interpretation by the AI systems. So that means you should develop clear, authoritative content structures, provide comprehensive content for key information, maintain consistent brand messaging across platforms, and then creating content that anticipates and answers follow-up questions that naturally come about from the content that you present. So what about the future, and how do you forecast sentiment in AI platforms? Predicting how AI platforms will interpret and present your brand requires a deep understanding of AI content evaluation mechanisms. So in simpler language, you gotta check under the hood and know how the machine works. And the way you know it works is by analyzing how different AI systems process and evaluate sentiment and how they determine which content to surface in response to user queries. If you can reverse engineer it, you'll become the master of the game. So as a pro tip, build a sentiment shift prediction model based on historical triggers and patterns to anticipate potential changes before they impact your brand. This prediction model doesn't need to be anything fancy, but you need to train your team on how to address those changes before they occur. After all, content planning that takes sentiment prediction into account allows for more strategic, flexible, and effective communication. As a business, you always need to be agile. And this approach involves creating content that not only addresses current sentiment, but also helps shape future perceptions so you can become a thought leader in your industry. So you'll have to regularly compare your sentiment metrics against your competition and your industry benchmarks to identify areas for improvement and opportunities for differentiation. The whole point is that you need to remove the fog of war and know what the map looks like. If you want to create an effective benchmarking system, be sure to establish clear metrics, and measurement frameworks that allow for meaningful comparison across different brands and market segments. It doesn't need to be the same for every business. Do what works for you, but make sure you have a system in place. Overall, the future of brand success lies in mastering sentiment prediction and management in AI-driven environments, especially AI search. By combining sophisticated sentiment analysis tools that work for you, alongside proactive strategy development, you will be able to stay ahead of perception shifts and maintain positive brand sentiment across all of your platforms. Yes, it's exhausting, but the investment will work out eventually. As AI continues to reshape how consumers discover and interact with brands like yours, the ability to predict and influence sentiment becomes increasingly crucial. So, if you're ready to transform your brand's approach to sentiment prediction, first start by implementing the strategies that I talked about in this video to secure your position in the AI-driven landscape of the future. Things will change like crazy, and I'm here to help. Don't be overwhelmed. We're going to win together. That's it for this video. I hope I cleared things up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Jason Patel of Open4j AI, and I'm here to help you. I'll see you in the next video.